My friends, we often say that when our thoughts are running wild, observing the breath is a very effective method. But do you know exactly how to observe your breath? The method of watching the breath has been used for thousands of years. Countless people have used this method and achieved varying degrees of results. Today, many people are still using this method because other methods are either too profound or too mysterious. They either seek outwardly or are hard to grasp. Only the practice of watching the breath is the most intimate method for every practitioner. Breathing is closely linked to our life. Where there is breath, there is life. When breathing stops, life ends. By regulating our breath, we can make our body and mind healthy and prolong life. It can even help us transcend life and death. Almost everyone engaged in mind cultivation uses the method of regulating breath. However, the method of watching the breath seems simple, but in fact it is not easy for beginners. Don't believe it? Let's test it now. Let's see what level your concentration is at. Close your eyes. Focus all your attention on your breathing process. Try to complete 8 full counts of breaths. Note that 1 inhale and 1 exhale, plus the pause in between, together count as 1 complete breath. All right? You can pause the video and try it if you can't maintain full attention throughout. If you can't complete these basic 8 breaths without any distraction. For example, if you get distracted in the middle or any thoughts flash through your mind, then it shows that your concentration is already very poor. No matter the result, let's first finish watching this video. I will tell you how to correctly use the method of watching the breath. To help yourself exit the mind at any time, detach from negative emotions, and return to the present moment. First, when watching the breath, if you focus all your attention on how to breathe correctly, then you are already making a mistake. Because what you're focusing on is the way of breathing, not the breath itself. For example, where exactly should I let the air go? Am I doing the correct abdominal breathing? Why do I feel suffocated when I breathe? Why is my breath short? Why is my breathing sound loud? And so on. If your attention is on these things, then what you're doing at this moment is not focusing on breathing, observing the breath, but studying the act of breathing. Obviously, this is not our goal. You need to know that your breath is the most direct and the most real presentation of your inner and physical state. Therefore, breathing is the result, not the cause. And what we are observing at this moment is the real process of breathing. This is the true cause. It is precisely this observation that unconsciously brings about magical transformation within us. It reclaims the consciousness that was captured by the mind and turned into forced unconscious thinking. And this reclaimed consciousness is exactly the attention you're using to observe the breath at this moment. Do you remember how we defined observation? Patiently, quietly, watching without the slightest interference. That is true observation. Only when you achieve such observation can it be called suchness observation. Therefore, when we watch the breath, we must remember to just observe. Do not do any extra analysis, thinking, or judgment. Do not think about the various problems you encounter in your breathing. These are not what you need to do at this moment. Remember, right now you don't need your brain at all. True observation requires only your awareness. Whatever truly happens, you observe it. If you feel shortness of breath, then quietly observe and focus on this shortness. If you feel uneven breathing, then quietly observe and focus on its unevenness. If you feel suffocated, observe and focus on this suffocation. If you feel the air entering your nostrils and the rise of your chest or abdomen, then observe and feel it. Throughout the process, there is no participation of the mind. Sometimes we call this non-participation of the mind ignoring. In such repeated suchness observations, you will gradually enter a state. It's a feeling of being liberated from the chattering mind. It is a deep tranquility. As you can focus on the breath for longer periods, your concentration will unconsciously increase accordingly. In other words, the degree of freedom of your consciousness is becoming higher and higher. Once you can retrieve your attention anytime, anywhere, and then temporarily focus it all on the breath, it means you can use the breath at any time to free yourself from the control of the mind. In this way, you already have the ability to instantly detach from negative emotions and to enter a meditative state at any time. Thus, you are already living more freely than many people, aren't you? Well, regarding watching the breath, I have three most important and valuable experiences to share with you. First, we don't just pay attention to our breath during specific times like sitting meditation or contemplation, but we should pay attention to our breath anytime in our daily life. This is one of the most important practices in daily life cultivation. For example, when stuck in traffic or waiting at a red light, you can practice a round of 8 breaths. On the bus or subway during your commute, you can also complete 2 to 3 rounds of breath counting. On the toilet, you can choose to put away your phone and complete 2 rounds of breath counting. Before sleeping, I also recommend you complete 2 rounds of breath counting, because this will help you fall asleep easily and quickly. When you feel nervous before speaking or giving a speech, you should also complete 1 or 2 rounds of breath counting. Of course, when you feel you're about to lose control, when emotions are about to erupt, please immediately complete 1 round of breath counting. I can even responsibly tell you, when you don't need to focus on something, you should, in every 5 minutes, spend at least 20 seconds focusing on your breath, letting yourself be aware that breathing is happening. Doing so will help you maintain awareness at all times. You will increasingly feel your inner self and gradually experience the joy and reality of life. This is also the simplest and most effective method to fundamentally dissolve your negative emotions. Remember to start with 8 breaths, because if you can continuously maintain focus, breathing evenly 8 times without distracting thoughts, you've already done very well. Second, for those with poor concentration, long periods of focusing on the breath may be somewhat difficult. Then you can try focusing on the sensation of air entering your nostrils when inhaling and focusing on sounds when exhaling. Because focusing on sounds is relatively easy to do, you can even, after inhaling, focus on any other external sounds, such as the hum of the refrigerator or air conditioner, the ticking of a clock, the chirping of birds and cicadas outside the window, and so on. This method will make it easier for your attention to concentrate. I believe that after trying, you will definitely have a different experience. Well, thirdly, don't forget the most important part of breathing. That is the pause between inhalation and exhalation. The Buddha told us long ago, life exists between 1 inhale and 1 exhale. If you can let yourself fully dwell in this short pause after exhaling completely, then you will experience that tranquility at the level of life. Therefore, when you are observing and counting breaths, be sure to remember that at the end of each exhalation, let yourself stay quietly in the pause for a while, to deeply experience this tranquility and peace. As you can focus in this pause for longer periods, your concentration and focus will accordingly be enhanced. You will get closer and closer to the essence of life. All right, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it has touched and inspired you. See you next time.